Okay, today's day 16. Quite a bit has actually happened today already. So this morning, I woke up nice and early because I wanted to climb up that mountain, like I said. So I woke up, but I had like searing pains in my stomach, and it was just so painful. So I just laid in bed for like 2 hours. But I finally motivated myself to get up. I got some breakfast, and I decided to start walking up the mountain. Just as I started, the pains came back, and I was just really struggling. But I don't know why, but I just kind of pushed through it. I'm happy that I did. But as I was walking, I was kind of getting lost a little bit, but I just kept on moving. About 45 minutes into, my hike, I come across this group, and they were kind of stopped. They were taking a break, and I wasn't super tired, but I was like, I'll take a break, follow this group for a little bit, just so I can see how to get to the top of the mountain, because I saw a few ways, but they did look a little bit sketchy, and I didn't want to get yelled at by a local farmer. So I decided to follow them for a while, and I got talking to them, and it was a group of middle-aged women, and they were all teachers and all from Canada. So we got to talking, and we got to this one point where they were going back down the hill, and since I wanted to go up, I was like, it was nice meeting you guys, but I'm gonna split off and try to find a way up the mountain. But as I was leaving, they were like, no, Eric, come on, join, because they said they were adopting me, and they couldn't let me walk alone because I was the same age as their children and stuff. So they said they couldn't leave me behind. So I ended up joining them. I got to experience milking a goat. That was quite interesting. I'll show you a video here.
Of course, go for it, Eric. All right. Hey, go for it. Yay.
Perfect. And then after that, I followed them to a farm, probably not a farm, it was more like a reserve, a minute up the road, and I got to eat this tagine. Amazing food. It was so good, probably the best one I've had. The one I had yesterday I thought that was the best, but then this one was even better. And it was free. I didn't have to pay for either, because all these women, they knew each other, or they at least knew like one or two people in the group, and it was a private tour that they paid for. So I was really happy for them letting me join them, and for the two tour guides allowing me to. But to why I'm walking on a road in the middle of the countryside. Hola. So as I was kind of joining them, we just kept walking farther and farther. And I was just thinking, how am I gonna get back? Obviously I could walk. I remember the way back. But the tour guides were like apologizing to me so much because just because of insurance reasons. They could only drive me like just a little bit down the hill. So So, you know, I'm grateful that they drove me the kind of like 500 meters down. And I'm also on this road, and they said, just keep walking straight, don't go left or right, and you'll make it back to town. And I kind of wanted to go back the original way because I'm feeling real good. I got lots of energy. And I kind of want to find my way back up that hill. But I didn't want to walk back the 500 meters that they drove me. So I'm just committed to it. And it's beautiful, so I don't mind. The sun is out, so I'm trying to tan my pasty white shoulders. And I don't know, today started off rough, but I'm really enjoying it. I mean, these are the things that I like. Yes, it's the downside of me having to walk back like 10 kilometers back, but I mean, this is why I'm here, to find and meet people like this, even if they are from Canada, spend time with them, enjoy them, get to know them, and have these shared experiences that I can come back home and tell people about, you know. Yes, it's not like the most crazy story, but it's a start, you know. It's a good one. It's one that I'll probably look back on fondly. That, you know, this group of women chose me as their son for 3 hours. But my memory is running out again, so I'll update you guys later, okay? Okay, so new location. I'm actually in the next spot, which you know, you'll see next video. But so from my last update, it bit of a journey. So as I was walking back, I remembered that my main goal from, you know, yesterday was I wanted to reach the top of the hill. So having that in mind, as I'm walking past this one hill, I see a path up, and I'm like, perfect, you know, like, this is my chance. So I take it. I'm walking up this path, and as I'm walking, I don't really notice it, but the path becomes less of a path and more of just where plants aren't. So, you know, once I realized that, you know, where I'm walking is not a path anymore, it was too late. And there was no behind. It was just, you know, just bush all the way around me. I didn't think it was too much of a problem at this point, which, I mean, says a lot probably about me. But the bush, like, it was thick, but still walkable. Probably only like waist height for me. So I decided to continue. And, you know, the path kind of appears or reappears and disappears randomly. So I have a direction that I'm going, and I know the general direction of the town. But as I'm walking, you know, the bush is just getting thicker, and I'm seeing less path. And then I finally make it out to this clearing. And this whole time I've been walking up this hill. So I get to this clearing, and I look out, and I'm probably about 3/4 of the way up the mountain at this point. And I'm just looking out onto this mountain range, and it was absolutely beautiful. Luckily for me, there was kind of a rock that was just like a foot or two jump away, and I thought this is a great spot for a photo. So, you know, I get all excited, and I kind of hop to the rock, overlooking everything. I go to reach for my phone. As soon as I go to reach for my phone, the whole rock shifts that I'm standing on. And I don't think I've ever jumped that fast in my life, and I basically just launched myself back onto the ground of the mountain. It didn't end up falling, but it shifted quite a bit from my weight. And I am so happy that I did not fall, because looking down, it is probably a 50-foot drop. And something that I'll learn that is quite common on this mountain is the amount of thorn bushes at that bottom of that drop. So that would have been horrible. Don't think probably would have died, but I probably would have been very injured, and then had to crawl around in a thorn bush. So that sounds awesome. So a little startled, I decide to keep on trudging through this mountain. I get to this point where the path kind of reappeared at this one spot, and it was quite thin. On the left side of the path, it's just full of thorn bushes, and on the right side, it's kind of like a steep hill. So I had maybe 4 or 5 inches of space I could fit my feet. So what I decided to do is put my entire trust into this tiny little plant, and I grabbed it with both of my hands. I leaned back, and I kind of just sidestepped through this. I thought it was a great idea at the time, but looking back, I put all of my weight into this tiny plant, and if that failed, I was falling back into a massive thorn bush again. So, I don't know, great thinking from me, but it worked, so whatever. So, again, I keep moving forward because I kind of just want to get home now. And again, the bush is still getting thicker and thicker as I'm getting higher up this mountain. It gets to a point where I'm no longer able to really push through. So I kind of had to crawl a little bit by force. There'd be clearing, so I'd crawl from clearing, stand up, take a break, crawl to the next clearing, take a break. And then the bush wasn't as thick anymore, but it was still probably a good 4 feet, maybe 5 feet tall. As I was saying, so I get to this new kind of part to this mountain. This plant, probably 4 feet tall. I'm very weak, so I could very easily just push through it. One slight problem. The bush, it was a flower bush, and it was just covered in just hundreds of bees. And I really didn't want to get stung. I was still quite a ways. I started walking back at probably 3, and it was about a 20-kilometer trek back, and I've only done a fraction, if that. But back to my story. So yeah, I get to these bushes, and there's just bees covering them. And obviously, since I'm in a little bit of the middle of nowhere, or more like I can't get anywhere quickly, I don't want to get stung. I'm not allergic, but if you're getting stung by just tons of bees, it's not good. It'll still do stuff to you. So my only option was, since I had to go that way, and this field was quite large, so going around it would take too much time, only logical option is to get on all fours and army crawl under these bushes, because there was a little rabbit-sized hole under them. So I put my fanny pack into my backpack. I took out my sweater, I put it on, I pulled my hood up, and I pulled the drawstring, so it's like just a little opening of my face. And I start crawling. So I kind of throw my bag a few feet ahead. And I just go 1, 2, 3, crawl ahead, throw my bag farther, and crawl forward. And I was doing that for, I don't know, because my phone was also in the bag as well, probably an hour. I would like to say that or it's probably more than that, but I'd like to say I crawled maybe kilometer and a half. It's really hard to tell when, your face is kind of in the dirt and all you can see is just bushes around you. It's kind of hard to tell. But I'm crawling. I get the odd spot where I can kind of maybe sit up and take a minute. But finally, after crawling for what seems like forever, I finally get to more of a clearing area. I stand up, and oh my goodness, you don't know how happy I felt when I saw a dirt path. Yes, I wasn't crying, but I was pretty close to, tears of happiness when I saw, a dirt path, which is kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a dirt path. But finally, so I reach this path and I'm walking on it. I'm finally getting a little bit of cell service, and I open up Google Maps and I'm only about halfway, and this has taken me 3 hours to get to this point. So now at least I'm moving fast, like I'm tired from what I just did. I have sticks all over in the back of my neck. I have them in my pockets, in my shoes, just pollen everywhere. So at least I'm moving now. But as I'm walking, I finally get to the peak of this hill and start working my way down towards this landmark that I see in the distance. I start feeling some like dribbles. And honestly, I didn't think much of it. At the time, I was like, this is kind of nice. It's cooling me down. But as I'm walking longer and longer, more droplets, they're more frequent. And it's about, just as I start seeing the town, it just starts pouring. And I wanted to move faster, but I couldn't because of the rain and all the dirt. It just was all mud. So I was just gonna slip. So I had to walk even slower now. And I think I was walking in the rain for about an hour, and my hostel is quite low in the Medina. And there's a little bit of a valley you have to get in or go through to get to it. So as I'm walking and I keep getting lower and lower, there's puddles are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And right at the end there, I'm just like walking right through a puddle. And my feet were soaked. Like I said, I had branches all over me. But I was so happy to get back into my hostel. And I laid down. I just slept in what I was wearing, which was kind of crazy. I was just so disgusting. But I was tired. I didn't care. It was late. So I slept. And then, yeah. But I think it took me about 6 hours getting back when it only took me 2.5 to get there. So obviously a lot more. But honestly, I enjoyed it in the moment and I enjoy it now. Yes, it was tiring. Yes, I made a stupid decision. But looking back, I would make the exact same decisions as I did. Because these are the things that, these are the stories that you tell. These are the ones that are exciting. These are the stories that help me build my speaking skills like this, because that's always one thing I've wanted to work on. But I mean, I've already told this story to so many people just in the past 3 days, and they've loved it. A few of them said they don't think they would have made it through. So I wonder what you guys think, if you guys would make it through, or if you would just give up or whatnot. But finally getting this video done after 3 days. Right after this, I got to record the other 2. So, I mean, good night technically for you guys, but you're going to get 2 videos very, very soon. Good night.